Hello everybody, in this video I will show this electrical typewriter, the Mercedes Elektra Model 3 from 1933. It was one of the first electric typewriters. I had a hard time believing that electrical typewriters already existed in 1933, but here it is. I've always been curious about this typewriter until in the end I managed to buy one. It's much more heavier than I imagined, but it's okay. I'm happy to have this typewriter in my collection. This one doesn't work. I think there is a short circuit somewhere because when I tried to connect to the electric socket, the power went out in all the city and it broke my laser printer, so I will not connect it. At the moment I'm living without laser printer. If I need some copies, I have to use this mimeograph from 1920. But I calculated that with what I earn with this YouTube channel, in 6 years I could buy a basic second-hand laser printer. I already have an electric device from that years. It's this calculator, the Marchant AS8 from around 1928. You find the link to the video in the comments. Please note that this Mercedes company have no relationship with Mercedes cars. This typewriter was designed much more before the 1933 by Karl Schlanz. He was the designer and the manager of the newly founded Mercedes company. At the beginning of 1900s, there were 120 men employed there, and only 3 or 4 typewriters were completed every day. The Mercedes Elektra was created in 1914, and it was one of the first electric typewriters. But the production, due to the First World War, had to be postponed, and this typewriter didn't appear on the market until 1924. The Mercedes Elektra, externally, it's very similar to the other Mercedes of that time, except that it has the electric motor on the right side. You see? It's quite the same of this manual typewriter Mercedes 6. But inside, of course, they are much different. Electric typewriters, of course, have different parts than the manual typewriters. There is, of course, the electric motor, but also cables, switches, levers, oil containers, etc. Spare parts are also much more costly. This one cost 12 Reichsmarks in the Germany of 1930s. The motor has a duty to move the carriage of the typewriter and the typing bars. A very light pressure of 2 mm on the button is enough to throw the typing bar against the roller, and it doesn't matter how much force you use with the finger, the force of the stroke remains always the same. And the typist didn't use his force, it was the typewriter applying the correct force without any effort on the part of the typist. So in 1933 secretaries could be happier because they will not get tired when typing. And they would be faster, so their boss will be happier too. Moving the small button allows increasing or reducing the impact force of the typing levers. You could need a strong impact if you have to do many copies with a carbon paper, for example. With maximum force you could do also 20 copies. Tabulator stops are still set manually on this bar in the back. The margins are set here as usual. There is a little crank for advancing the ribbon. One of the characteristics of this typewriter is that it can be dismantled into its main components: frame, carriage, and typing bar basket. There are these screws around the typewriter to allow this operation. According to the manual, dismantling the typewriter is easy, but in fact it's very complicated. There are many pages on the manual about this, and there is a complicated sequence about what to pull, unscrew, remove, loosen, adjust, turn, grab, press, tilt, lift, reinstall, etc. The Mercedes Elektra allowed to change the carriage, so to use different length carriages. Another interesting feature is that when you press a typing lever, all the other typing bars are locked. It means that the annoying banging of several type levers together is avoided. Since it's an heavy and noisy typewriter, the manual recommends that you use a steel tubes table like this. This contributes to the noiseless operation of the motor by eliminating the resonance. The button marked AT is similar to our return button on the keyboards. It returns the carriage to the desired starting position for the next line. It's faster, and it's not necessary to use the interline lever. Also, during the movement, all writing keys are locked to prevent a letter from being printed prematurely. But this typewriter needs a lot of maintenance. Every morning before starting work, you have to wipe all parts with a soft cloth and removing the dust and other dirt with a brush. Cleaning the typing characters is also part of the daily duties. Every 10-15 weeks you have to clean all the internal mechanism, dismantling the typewriter. The typewriter needs lubricant to move motors and gears. This is a container for the grease for lubrication for the bushings. You have to make sure that there is enough grease every 10-14 days. The engine can reach 60 degrees, so you should take care to use good lubricant. Every 800 hours of working, you have also to replace the carbon brush of the motor. Also, in 1930s, electricity is already quite diffused, but if you lived in the countryside, maybe there isn't in your house. So, if you plan to use a time machine to go in the 1930s and buy a typewriter, be aware that this typewriter have many pros, but also many cons, and maybe it's better you choose a standard manual typewriter. Have a nice day.